Raptors family, what's going on everybody? Sif checking in and welcome back to another Raptors video. Man, oh man, what a great time it is to be a Raptors fan, and I'm so glad that I'm back because not only did we recently win against our rival being the Philadelphia 76ers, but also there are some major conversations to be had about the Toronto Raptors as of now. Not only because we are approaching the end of the season being on April 13th, but also there's a lot of questions or certain aspects of the Raptors that really needs to be considered as we head into the off season as well as the future seasons to come. So we're going to be breaking all of that down as well as this game. And without further ado, let's get started. Now right off the bat, we need to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors game. And even though this game is part of the Raptors rebuild season, after watching this game, you really couldn't tell that the Raptors were on a rebuild phase because not only was all of the players that played in this game playing at the optimal best, but also you can really tell that each of these players really understood not only their role on the team, but also where to be at every single possession of the game. And because of that, they were able to get the most effective shots to really help them not only on a stat perspective, but also for the overall team's win. And you can really credit that to Coach Darko's development system that he has been doing with the guys throughout the course of the season, because in the later games, as we are seeing right now, they are really showing, and based on all of this, it is really fruitful, because if the Toronto Raptors are playing the way they are playing right now into the future seasons to come, I'm really hopeful for what the future has in store for the team. So shout out to the Toronto Raptors for the way they performed in this game, and hopefully they go strong to close off all of the rest of the games this season in the same manner that they did with this game as well. Now speaking of closing out, one more point that we need to discuss regarding the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Raptors game is we need to shout out RJ Barrett from the Toronto Raptors, because for the amount of slander that this man has been getting from some of the Raptors fan base as well as social media, especially given the fact that this brother might be traded in the offseason for who knows what reason, he has been performing really well, especially after the All-Star break, to the point where he has been getting high career numbers, whether that be point-wise or overall. And it's becoming so crazy that at this point in time, personally, I feel that the team is definitely going to be incomplete without RJ Barrett there. And that is just a testament to the amount of hard work that he's been putting throughout his time, not only with the Raptors, but in the NBA. And I believe that if he continues to perform like this, not only will it be tough for the management to trade him, but also I believe that he will be a definite and an important factor for the Toronto Raptors when they go to pursue that championship and make a deep playoff push as well. So hopefully RJ Barrett sticks around with the Raptors for a very long time, and I can't wait to continue to see how he develops while he's here with the Toronto Raptors. Now, with the conversation between the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers game out of the way, with this win against the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as all the wins that the Toronto Raptors have been getting up to this point, especially after the All-Star break, a lot of fans have been very confused as to what direction the Toronto Raptors are going for the course of this season, or the remainder of the season. And to answer that question, I believe that the Toronto Raptors are still tanking. There's no ifs or buts about that in my opinion, because for one thing, the Toronto Raptors did not win games when it mattered the most, being in that beginning of the season due to injuries and things of that nature. But also, if you notice right now, after the All-Star break, a lot of NBA players are being sidelined for the rest of the season due to injuries and blood clots. Two major players for the NBA that are out due to blood clots are one, Victor Wembanyama from the San Antonio Spurs, and recently Damian Lillard from the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's safe to say that due to all these injuries and things of that nature happening for the major stars, their teams are basically saying, okay, let's just wrap up the season and tank so that we can get a high draft pick and try again next season. And with the hype of Cooper Flag being in the 2025 draft class as of now, that is even more incentive for them to tank. And with all that being said, for the Toronto Raptors, who have been trying to tank, or at least attempting to tank throughout the whole season, to have everyone else or all the other teams do it right now, especially after the All-Star break, means that the Toronto Raptors are going to get some easy wins or unexpected wins that they wouldn't have gotten if the other teams were playing at their fullest capacity. So with all that being said, I still think that the future is pretty bright for the Toronto Raptors simply because we have a great development staff, and as you've probably seen from the games that the Toronto Raptors have played up to this point, especially after the All-Star break, every single player for the Toronto Raptors has improved, so much so that we are bringing new players from the Raptors 905 G League team just to give them more experience so that their NBA career can be beneficial as well. So you can really tell how much of an impact the Raptors development system is having on the players. I believe that if the Raptors continue to improve the development system as well as the players continue to improve their games and their skill set along with the development system, there's going to be some crazy conversations to be had regarding the Raptors next season, and in the best case scenario, we'll be able to shock the world and the NBA world in more ways than one. So yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on not only the game between the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers, but also what I thought of the Toronto Raptors so far as we approach the end of the season. And while everything looks good for the Toronto Raptors as of now, especially given the fact that our development system is working phenomenally and I believe will get better as the season goes on, there are still some questions to be had in that offseason, whether that be who we're getting in the draft or which players are going to be part of the squad come next season. But those are topics that we can discuss in the offseason, and as the news comes out, you know I'll be there to give you the full details as well as my opinions about it. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below not only your thoughts on the recent game between the Toronto Raptors and the Philadelphia 76ers, but also your thoughts on the Toronto Raptors season so far, especially given the fact that we are heading into the end game being the end of the season. Are you a fan of the Raptors being on Team Tank? Are you not a fan? And everything else in between. Let me know in the comments below and we can chat it up there as well. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video where we talk more Raptors or more sports in general. And until then, Civ signing out.